Okay guys, one division left, and it's the one that suffered the biggest loss. And no, I am not talking about the Super Bowl. What's going on guys, Dick's Report here, back with another video, and today we are going through the NFC West, the last division of the free agency reviews. I'm not going to waste any more time, we're going to jump right in. So the Cardinals lost both Marquise Brown and Rondale Moore during the offseason. Moore was traded to the Falcons for Desmond Ridder. That's going to be their backup to Kyler Murray next year. And then Brown signed with the Kansas City Chiefs. They did bring in Chris Moore. However, he's more of a fourth or fifth option, and what the Cardinals really do need is a number one option. Now, they did bring in guys like Justin Jones, Jonah Williams, Sean Murphy-Bunting, B.L. Nichols, Mack Wilson, DJ Dallas. And they didn't lose anybody too big other than Brown, with Lucky Fatu, Josh Woods, and Jeff Swime leaving. Then they got back Elijah Wilkinson, Aaron Bruner, Chris Barnes, and Bobby Price. But right now, this receiving core has to be settled. They have to have a number one option by week one. They have the 4th overall pick, and I know a lot of people are saying they could potentially trade down if, say, Minnesota wants to come up and get J.J. McCarthy, but I just don't think that's a good idea. You need to get a number one receiver. To me, Marvin Harrison Jr. is the best player in this draft. Just take him. Sometimes the easiest thing is the right thing to do. And I know you get guys like Justin Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb. That does happen, but you can't be banking on that. Really, when you're going for your number one guy, you're going to get him at the top end of the draft, like the first few receivers off the board. Remember, when Lamb and Jefferson went to the Cowboys and Vikings, they weren't expected to be the number one options right away. They already had number one guys. It just so happened that they played so well that they grew into those number one roles. But again, you just can't be banking on that right away with the bottom half of the first round. You just can't be banking on that. So yeah, while they have another pick in the first round, and while this is a deep wide receiver class, I feel like the Cardinals should just get Marvin Harrison Jr. or one of the other two top receivers, Neighbors or Duzier. Just get one of those guys with the 4th overall pick. And then at 27th, just take the best player available. Right now, the Cardinals need talent. You have your quarterback in Kyler Murray. If you get Marvin Harrison Jr., there's your number one guy. Then just fill the roster. Try to rebuild it. You have to keep trying to get talented players on this roster. Maybe you can make some noise next year, maybe not. I don't know, but the Cardinals need to build for the future. The Rams got Jonah Jackson from the Detroit Lions. That was their big signing of the offseason. That's a great piece to have on the offensive line. They also got Darius Williams and Tre'Davious White at the corner position. For Tre'Davious White, if he works out, if he can get back to 75% of what he was for Buffalo, that's a really good signing for the Rams. It's low risk, high reward. We'll see if it works out. Jimmy Garoppolo is going to replace Carson Wentz as the backup to Matthew Stafford. They also got Cody Parkinson and Cameron Crowe. However, they did lose John Johnson at safety. Brian Allen is gone. Jordan Fuller, also one of their safeties, is gone. And Coleman Shelton is gone. And I think I'm forgetting one player. Oh yeah, Aaron Donald announced his retirement. 10 years, over 100 sacks. 3 times he was the Defensive Player of the Year. 1 Super Bowl ring, and a whole bunch of quarterbacks that are happy they do not have to deal with him anymore. Now the question goes, where do the Rams go from here? Matthew Stafford is in his mid-30s. And Sean McVay, we've heard rumblings that he may be leaving coaching soon. Whether they're true or not, it is a possibility. So now the Rams really have to think, where are they going to be 5, 10 years from now? How do they build this team? And they've done a good job of that. You still have Cooper Kupp. Puka had a terrific rookie season, and they've done a great job drafting. Even though they haven't had first-round picks, I mean, this is going to be their first-round pick that they have used since Jared Goff. I know it's hard to believe, but it's true. If they use this first-round pick, first one since Jared Goff, that's pretty insane if you ask me. Now, what do they do with Stafford? How much longer does he have? Could they draft a quarterback? I think it's a distinct possibility, but I don't think it's going to happen in round 1. I think the Rams are just going to go for just best player available, maybe a Brian Young, maybe a Johnny Newton to replace Aaron Donald. I know it's a lot to ask for, but if they could get kind of Neil Anderson-like production, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, Neil Anderson replaced Walter Payton, and he went to 4 Pro Bowls after replacing Walter Payton. So you can get something like that from your first-round pick that's replacing Aaron Donald. I think that's pretty good. I know it's an impossible task. Hey, but somebody's got to do it. And with Matthew Stafford, I think it could be a possibility that the Rams go second, third round, get a quarterback, but we'll see. The Rams, they kind of do their own thing, and it's worked. I mean, they went all in for a Super Bowl. They got the Super Bowl. They don't have first-round picks, but they still get solid players with their later-round picks. They have a system that works, and we'll see what happens during the draft. Okay, did anybody notice how much talent the 49ers lost on the defensive line? I mean, it was insane. Chase Young, Eric Armstead, Cleveland Farrell, Sebastian Joseph Day, Javon Hargrave, Randy Gregory. That's a lot of depth that they lost. Now, they did sign Leonard Floyd to be a pass rushing specialist and Yatir Gross-Meadows, but that's still a lot of depth that needs to be replaced. You still have Nick Bosa and Javon Hargrave, but there's a reason you have a lot of depth on your defensive line. You got to be able to make rotations. You can't expect guys to be on the field every single defensive snap. If you do, guys are going to get tired very quickly. Now, they also got Jordan Elliott for the secondary, Rocky and Sin also for the secondary, and Josh Dobbs to replace Sam Darnold, who left for the Vikings. For the 49ers, I wonder how much longer their window is going to be open. Christian McCaffrey, he only has maybe 1 or 2 years left. I mean, he's in his late 20s now. That's when running backs start to slow down. As much as that's a scary thought, it's the truth. You got to pay Brock Purdy at some point, and now you've got this whole situation with Brandon Ayuk. Is he going to stay? Are you going to be able to get an extension done, or are you going to have to trade him? That's a big question right there. How much longer do the 49ers have before that window closes and they have to start thinking about reloading? Already on the defensive line, they lost a lot. Are they going to be able to repeat as NFC champions and get back to the Super Bowl? I do not know at all. All I know is there is a target on their back, and we all know about the Super Bowl runner-up curse. It hit them once back in 2019. We know what happened after that season. Is the same thing going to happen in 2024? We're going to find out. The Seahawks got back some key pieces in free agency with Leonard Williams and Noah Fant re-signing. They also brought back George Fant, started off his career as a Seahawk. He's back home. They also brought in Rayshawn Jenkins, Jerome Baker, Nick Harris, and Jonathan Hankins. But man, did they lose a lot in free agency. They cut both Jamal Adams and Quandre Diggs. Damian Lewis is gone. So is Jordan Brooks, Cody Parkinson, Will Dissly, DJ Dallas, Bobby Wagner, Drew Lock, Evan Brown, Mario Edwards, and Devin Bush. One more thing that's gone, their head coach. Pete Carroll is gone. In comes Mike McDonald, who was leading the Ravens defense the last 2 seasons. And we all know how good the Ravens defense was last year. So can he turn being a successful defensive coordinator to being a successful head coach for the Seattle Seahawks? That remains to be seen. So what do they do with their first round pick? Well, you saw a lot that they had to replace. They lost both of their safeties. They have to find a way to replace those 2 guys. Geno Smith. Do they entertain a quarterback? I don't think so. Geno's going to be their guy this year. And we'll see how that goes. Wide receiver, they're fine there. Probably want to make sure the offensive line is taken care of. Yes, they drafted Charles Cross, but you did lose a piece in Damian Lewis. Also, you want to make sure that your linebackers are good to go. You lost both Brooks and Bobby Wagner. Really, for the Seahawks, they're going to have a lot of pieces to replace, and I don't know if they have enough draft picks to do that. Alright guys, that was the breakdown of every single division, how they did in free agency, and guess what? Sam and I got our mock draft done. So that is going to be the next video. That is going to be out in the next few days. And as always, I will see you guys next time.